Yeah, I'm outside in an AMG, right outside, TT, two-turn baby girl, you know me.
Yo, what's good? It's Josh again with the Black and the Black podcast, where it's always real, where we don't conceal. And today, the truth will be revealed. And on today's episode, we have a special guest who recently became a Morehouse alum. He's getting ready to pursue his master's at Syracuse in broadcast and digital journalism. He's also a media director. He's beyond knowledgeable about all things sports and just overall an amazing guy. My brother, Kobe Scales. What's going on, man?
What's up, man? What's up? Thank you for
How you
having
doing
me.
today? Yes, sir.
Oh,
Yes, sir.
I'm
Listen,
good,
this
man.
might be my favorite guest.
Yeah.
This might be my favorite guest so far.
Man, I'm just trying to be great, man. I'm just trying to be like, yeah.
Nah, you got it, bro. You killing the game. Listen, them graduation pictures you dropped, they was fire. Fire.
They was hard.
Yes, man. Especially the one
What's
with the
up?
dog. I'm like,
With the-
who would have thought
Yeah,
of this?
yeah, nah, that was that's my parents' dog. So it was crazy how that worked. Like my parents drove in the morning of that I took the pictures. So they
Uh-huh.
hadn't even unpacked the car or nothing. Like they drove overnight to get to Morehouse, you know what I'm saying, to get to Atlanta so that I could take the pictures. And so they just
Dang.
got that dog like a few weeks ago or something like that. And so they was just like, they was like, well, we got the dog. They had a collar on the dog. I didn't even know they had the Syracuse collar for the dog, right? So I'm like, all right. So I'm taking the pictures or whatever, and like my dad got the dog on the leash, and I'm like, hey, let me see the dog. Let me see the dog.
Mhm.
So I put the dog in the pictures, and everybody loved it, man. It was crazy. It was crazy.
Dang, man. Look, you got your Morehouse alum hat on. You just
Yeah,
you just
yeah, yeah,
flexing on
yeah, yeah.
that.
Man,
Dang.
it's no flex, man. You gonna get there. You got a few years, but you gonna get there. You gonna
We
get
gonna
there.
get there. So I'm gonna jump straight into it, man. So we know you're a journalist. You killing it, like I said. And so I just want to know, where did your journalism career begin?
Nah, it didn't start till college, honestly. Growing up, I played ball my whole life.
Right.
And so yeah, so I didn't my journalism career didn't start, and I didn't even think about journalism really until I got to college. Growing up, I played ball my whole life. You know, basketball, football. I even played lacrosse, and baseball in high school. Lacrosse is actually like my favorite sport that I ever played. Lacrosse is the most fun sport ever. I wish we could get more like African American men and women to play lacrosse.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, so growing up, I played ball my whole life, so I always said I wanted to stay around the game somehow, right? And
Right.
so the regular response to that is somebody will ask you like, what do you want to do when you grow up? And so every athlete always says, oh, I want to do sports medicine. Bro, I hated science. Like I hated science my whole life. But I always said, I want to do sports medicine. And
Hmm.
so one day, I think I was probably like a senior in high school or something. Um, and my uncle said to me, he was like, you actually don't like science. And like he was asking me my grades and stuff, and we was just talking about sports, and he was just asking me my grades and everything. He was like, you don't like science, like, and your lowest grade in school right now is science. How you gonna go to school and do sports medicine, but your lowest grade is science? And so
That
I
don't
had
make
to
no sense.
think about it, and I was like, you know what, you're right. And he was like, you ever thought about being a sports journalist? And I was like, nah, never thought about sports journalism. And so when he said that, it just it kind of clicked in my head. Like I walk around, I wake up, I talk about sports all day. I wake up, I talk about sports. I live, eat, and breathe sports all day, like my whole life, all of my years of life. I've lived, eaten, and breathed sports. You know what I'm saying? Everything I've done has revolved around sports up until literally up until college.
Hmm.
And I had to find a way to continue that, and not being on the field anymore, not playing football anymore. I had to find a way to continue to fulfill that, like that sports itch that I had. I just found it in the form of journalism. It took off, man. But even when I got to college, it wasn't a process. It didn't start. We'll get to that, but it didn't start. It didn't start as soon as I got to college.
Mm. So now, I can relate completely to you though, bro, because I was going to school for biology at first
Yeah,
last year, and I went into the biology orientation, whatever, and I just got up and I walked out, and then
it didn't
that's when
feel right.
it didn't feel right. It just felt weird, and I'm like, bro, my lowest grade in high school, even though I had all A's, I mean, my A minus was in science, and so I was like, what am I doing with my life, bro? Let me
Yeah.
just, I know what I need to do, so I did it. But I do want to know, in journalism, who was one of your favorite journalists?
So like it's gonna sound crazy, but like growing up, I really didn't have like uh like that favorite journalist growing up. And it was because
Mm-hmm.
I didn't really it wasn't it wasn't something that I like was too keen on doing. Like I never thought that it was something that I was going to do. So I can't tell you like, oh, I had this favorite journalist. Obviously TV personalities, you know what I'm saying? We grow up with NBA on TNT, we grow up with ESPN, we grew up with First Take, we grew up with Chuck, Ernie, Shaq,
Exactly.
Charles. Yeah. We grew up with them, but we grew up with Stephen A. and rest in peace, Stuart Scott. You know what I'm saying? Like we grew up with
Exactly.
all of these people. But I can't tell you for a fact or for certain that like I have a favorite ESPN journalist that's a beat writer or anything of that nature. Like I didn't have that because I didn't grow up really caring and thinking that that's what I was gonna get. That's the route that my life would take. Now obviously it's taking that route now, but that wasn't what I thought I was gonna do. So I didn't have a favorite journalist growing up.
Mm, that's real. So now we're talking about favorite journalists and how you didn't have one. And so for me though, why you heard at the beginning, I said this might be one of my favorite episodes. Is also number one is because you my Morehouse brother. But
For sure.
speaking on Morehouse brothers, you also work with another one of our Morehouse brother, Miles Johnson. And so
That's
how
my guy.
he got it going on too. And
Yeah.
so how does it feel to be working alongside a guy like Miles?
um it's an adventure every day. Me and Miles is a character, man. But it's an adventure every day because the it's never boring. We argue all day, all night, right? Group
Mhm.
chats, group in, group out. We're arguing. We arguing sports. We're talking sports. Whatever. Sending this article, sending that article, sending this video, sending that video. Um, and so the reason that me and Miles are work together so well is because all we do is argue. Personally, honestly, like that's my guy. I love him to death. But like all we do is argue, right? And that's the reason that our podcast is so interesting. But that started because I'm a Cowboys fan and he's an Eagles fan. And honestly, I'm gonna keep it tall. Like Miles didn't want me on his podcast at first. That wasn't
Wow.
like I'm telling you this journalism thing kind of happened. Like, and I'll never say it happened overnight. I put the work in for sure, but it did.
Right.
It wasn't it wasn't like always a sure thing. And so when Miles first met me, and I first met Miles, I should say, the first day I met him, I'm gonna be honest with you, my dad knew who Miles was before I did. Because my dad my dad just follows sports like that, and he follows sports media and whatever. But my dad is also very in tune with like what's going on at Morehouse. And so my dad, like, he was looking into like journalists at Morehouse or whatever. He was like, "Hey, you ever met this dude?" And I was like, "Nah, I never met him. I probably should have though." And my dad was like, "Yeah, you should probably find out who that is." You know what I'm saying? And so, lo and behold, I want to say my second semester of my sophomore year, or maybe it was my first semester. My first semester of my junior year is when I met Miles, and we had a class together. Lo and behold, I walk into class on the first day, and there he is sitting in there. And so I just sat beside him and we chopped it up, whatever. And I was like, "Hey man, I would love to be on your podcast." And he was like, "Nah, I'm
Nah.
cool. Like I'm kind of like a solo, you know what I'm saying?" But he watched me work. He watched me work for a good while, and finally, I would say about the second semester of my junior year, he was like, "You thinking about what you think about being my co-host?" And I was Like
That's
I was
hard.
like, oh, now you want me. Now you know what
Now
I'm
you
saying? Now
want
you want me on now you want me on the pod. But it was, all things have to come, you have to work for the things that you want. You know what I'm saying? And when I met him, he could tell I wasn't ready, and I knew I wasn't ready, but I was just trying to jump in, head first or whatever, you know what I'm saying? And it worked out that he finally let me on, but that wasn't something that just, me and Miles weren't best friends. That was like, that was a real working relationship, and now we're really close, but that didn't start off like that.
That's hard, bro. I mean, I watch y'all content. Y'all do produce some great content. Now, do I agree with y'all on every take? No. Because number one, I'm a Packers fan, and we've been putting a whooping on them Cowboys for the past decade. For the past decade. Let me say it one more time. The past decade, we've been putting a whooping on y'all. So I mean,
You
I
remember?
don't,
Can we go back to the part where you said? Can we go back to the part where you said I was your favorite guest? Like, we didn't have to do that. I can
listen,
leave.
listen. You know what? Just cold,
I
just
can leave.
cold,
I can leave.
just cold.
Nah,
Oh man.
yeah, no.
Uh,
My Cowboys, we y'all put a whooping on us, man, and it hurt to watch. It hurt to watch, but we gonna figure something out. I hope we're gonna figure something out. I hope more Cowboys content
I
coming
hope
soon,
so.
though.
I do hope y'all figure it out because y'all got a lot of guys that's in their prime, really, and you don't want to waste guys who in their prime. And
Never.
I do
Like,
feel like y'all need to get rid of y'all owner, but
yeah, he's
I'm
never. We're never gonna
that's
be able to get rid of him. But I don't wish bad on nobody. But I just something he gotta go, man. He
you
gotta.
gotta go.
I need him to like stub a toe so he can't be the owner or something no more. I don't know. We gotta get him out of the booth, out of the box.
Because
Yeah,
whatever he doing is not working in Dallas.
it
So
doesn't work. It doesn't work. It do- it
but
hasn't worked for a long time.
yeah, my
It's
grandfather, he's been a Cowboys fan since he was a little boy. And
yeah.
he tell me all the time, Josh, and he gonna watch this too. He gonna say, he's always say, Josh, I'm gonna stick with my boys through the bad, through the good, and the ugly. He said, whatever it take, I'm sticking with them boys.
Got
So
to,
I mean,
got to.
y'all some loyal fans, but
We are, we are. Like, you know how
I
hard
feel
it is being a Cowboys fan that was born in 2002. You know how insane that is. Like, I ain't never seen no winning in before. I ain't never seen no. I ain't seen a championship in my whole life. I ain't seen a
that's
win. I ain't seen
insane.
a Super Bowl. I ain't seen nothing. I'm living on my parents and my grandparents' glory. I don't know. It's bad.
It's about
It's
time
bad.
for y'all to win one. But
Yeah.
after my Packers win one, with
Yeah. Okay.
Jordan Love. I just wanted
Yeah.
to
I don't.
Jordan Love had a
I
great season last year too.
He
So
did. He balled out. He balled out. I don't foresee y'all winning one with him, but maybe a little bit later on. Not right now though. It's not y'all's time yet. Y'all was really
now
good. Y'all were really good, but I don't see it yet.
if we upset the whole league and win it next year, I don't want to hear nothing. I don't want to hear
I will
if
give you all y'all props. I will give you your props. Y'all had a young black quarterback. I'm happy for him. If y'all get something done, you know what I'm saying? Cool. I just don't see it. But that's neither here nor there.
you know. Okay, now I do want to know, before we go into sports some more, what has been the biggest lesson you've learned so far in your career?
You can do anything you want to do.
Mm,
That's you can do anything that you want to do because you can do anything you want to do if you work hard enough. Like I said, uh you know uh this wasn't always something that I knew I could do. I had no clue that I would be where I am right now. I had no clue. If you'd have told me my freshman year of college that I would be on my way to Syracuse after having done some of the things that I've done, I would tell you you're crazy, right? Like this isn't something that I thought possible, but you can do anything that you want to do if you work hard enough for it. That's all. And this didn't all start. I'll tell you. So when I first got to Morehouse, I was a communications major. So my freshman year as a communications major, my sophomore year, my advisor like left the school or something, but he didn't tell anybody. So my first
wow.
day of classes, I'm looking for my advisor, and like he was gone. Somebody was like, yeah, he doesn't work here no more. And I was like, wait, what? I don't have an advisor. And so somebody was like, yeah, man, you don't have an advisor. You got to go and see somebody else. They sent me to this lady. I'm blanking on the name now, but they
Dr.
sent me
Stewart.
to no, it wasn't Dr. Stewart. It wasn't Dr. Stewart. They sent me to somebody else. And she was like, have you ever thought about being a journalism major? Lo and behold, God works in mysterious ways. So the summer before, Michael Jordan had made this crazy donation. So the summer going into my sophomore year, the way that we have a journalism major at Morehouse now, Michael Jordan made a crazy donation that allowed us to have the journalism major, obviously started by Spike Lee and Ron Thomas.
Exactly.
Shout out to changed my life. Ron Thomas changed my life. But the summer prior, Michael Jordan had made that donation, which everybody had heard about, but I had no clue what it actually did, right? And so this lady was like, "Hey, you should go and you should switch to journalism as your major." Introduced me to Ron Thomas, and from then on, it took off, right? But I ended up with an internship my sophomore year summer on Capitol Hill as like a communications intern for the Committee on Homeland Security, right? Had no business being there. I wouldn't lie to you. I didn't know what I was doing. that was luck of the draw. I'll tell you, the lady called me, my manager, my director, whatever. She called me in May after the school year had ended, after my sophomore school year had ended, and was like, "Hey, can you be in DC in like 2 weeks?" I was like, well, lucky for you, I live in Virginia, but lucky for me, I also live in Virginia, right? So it wasn't a hard transition. So I ended up being able to get there, but that's where it all started. So I got this internship, and that was the summer of the January 6 hearings. That was the summer of, the Roe v. Wade overturning. So I was in DC for a historical summer. And Ron Thomas called me in the middle of the summer. I was at work, and he called me, and he was like, "Hey, do you think you could somebody told me that you've been in every January 6 hearing to date," and this was like the middle of July. And somebody was like, somebody told me you've been in every January 6 hearing on Capitol Hill this summer. And I was like, yeah, I'm sure they look cool on TV. They're kind of boring though. They take 8 hours, and you just sit there all day and watch. I was like, it's not that fun, but nonetheless, he called me and he was like, "Hey, do you think you can write something for the Maroon Tiger?" I started off as the opinions editor, which didn't really work because I didn't know what that meant. And I was writing all sports content, and I ended up writing like one article. I have to go back and find it. I ended up writing like one article from Capitol Hill. And I ended up writing one, and then the summer ended and I came back and I was the opinions editor. Obviously some things happened that we can talk offline about that happened in MT. Some folks got fired, some folks got moved around.
Yeah.
And I turned into like, I went from opinions editor to like sports producer or something. Wow. And that's where it all took off. So all of this started my junior year. I didn't get on the Maroon Tiger till my junior year of college. I didn't take a single trip till my junior year. None of it, right? It just that's why I say you can do anything you want to do, because it wasn't like I've been working at this for 4 years. I was working towards something for 4 years. I just didn't know what it was. And this is obviously what it ended up being, but it didn't start my freshman year. My path was unconventional. And so, yeah, you can do anything you want to do if you work hard enough.
So before we move on, I just want to tell you, a couple of you guys, you, Ozzy, Mira, a lot of you guys, y'all, because if you don't know, and if some of the viewers don't know, I'm a part of the Maroon Tiger. And I'm gonna tell my brief story. I got denied my first semester at Morehouse Lab this past freshman year. I got
Tiger.
Yeah, for Tiger TV and all the other stuff, I got denied, and that was really simply because I didn't have enough content up.
Right.
And so then I came back the second semester and I got in this time. That was because I had a plethora of stuff to view. Mm-hmm. And so fast forward to the end of the year now I'm on the e-board of the Maroon Tiger as the Tiger Talks co-producer and stuff like that. And so, like he said, it's just a testament to your work ethic and how hungry you really are. And like, you can really do anything you put your mind to, especially when you talk to the right people. And funny story. I met this dude in TLC
On a rainy day. It was raining
on a
hard as
rainy
hell outside.
day.
It was raining very hard.
It was pouring down rain, and we were standing on Brown Street talking for like 30 minutes. And
Yeah.
so it just took off from there. So that's why I also said you're one of my favorite guests.
Yeah.
But far as journalism goes, what is the end goal for you?
So I'm going to get my master's at Syracuse this coming up this fall. I actually start in like less than a month now. What's today? I started less than a month. I start July 1st in Syracuse. Still in Atlanta right now, but I'm gonna end up moving to Syracuse. Oh, hey Siri, my fault. Uh, yeah. So I'm gonna end up having to move to Syracuse really soon here. Um, and after my master's, man, I really don't know. I always said that I wanted to work for a team. Um, but the goal was to graduate from Morehouse, and then I didn't think that I was going to end up at grad school, and now I'm going to probably the number one journalism school in the nation, right? The number one sports journalism school in the nation, I should say. Um, they produce crazy talent out of Syracuse, right? So the possibilities are endless. I can end up with a team. I can end up on a network. Obviously, I wanted to come back to Atlanta, but with TNT losing the NBA deal, that was a really big blow for the sports journalist community, especially on air talent, producers, all types of things of that nature. Obviously, they still have NHL and MLB over there at TNT.
Right.
But that was a really big blow for the community just because we've counted on NBA on TNT for so long.
Exactly.
So we'll see where I end up, man. I'm not sure yet. I'm just gonna keep working and see how God blesses me.
That's exactly what I'm talking about. I'll actually be in Syracuse this weekend because I got invited. I filled out a thing to go to this little sports media workshop, whatever. So I'm looking forward to that. So, um, but now we're gonna shift a little bit. I
Okay.
want to talk about Morehouse directly, right? And so I just want to ask you, how has a school like Morehouse impacted you as a whole person?
Morehouse changed my life, man. Obviously, you know, we've talked about how some things happened and I almost, didn't get to finish matriculating through Morehouse because of some decisions that I made. But obviously, um, without Morehouse, none of this would have been possible. I mean, we could
Right,
talk about how good other schools are and what other schools do for their people, but what Morehouse has done for me, and the opportunities that Morehouse has given me are truly one of a kind. I mean, how many people can say that in their matriculation through their colleges, they've been to NBA All Star Weekend, right?
right,
Um, I've been to NBA All Star Weekend. I've been to national football games. I've been to national, I've been to basketball games. I've been to, I've done so much in my short time and met so many people. Even things like this, just being on a podcast like this right here, um, has allowed me. That's what Morehouse allowed, right?
right,
Um, and so just meeting people, the opportunities to meet people, to network, to get out and do things. So it's Morehouse, but it's also the Maroon Tiger. And I'll say this: I told people this at my graduation. I said, Morehouse didn't create me; it just sharpened me.
mm,
I was already who I was. I already had the work ethic. I already had a lot of the tools I needed to succeed. I just didn't know what
right.
it was that I wanted to do. I didn't know what it was that I was gonna do. And Morehouse gave me a path, a direction. Um, that's what Morehouse is for me.
I feel you. So what the thing that I've learned, especially from you, is that because in freshman year I tried, I'm like I ain't active enough. This past year I was like I ain't doing enough. I ain't doing enough. You heard me say that multiple times. You feel
Yeah.
like I ain't doing enough. But what I learned was that you don't have to have it all figured out at the beginning. That's the
No.
point of this. The point of like you told me, this thing we call life is like a marathon.
Right.
It's a race. You just gotta go through it. It's about durability, and so it's just trying to figure that out and figure out your niches, that's the challenge. But once you figure it out, it works and
Yeah.
wonders. And so the next part of that question is, there's a bunch of misconceptions about Morehouse, like, oh, it's an all male school, so on and so forth. That conversation.
Yeah.
Uh, so how would you respond to the naysayers and the people like that?
Um. Well, first of all, Morehouse being an all male school, I always make the joke, bro. Honestly, Morehouse is an all male school. Uh, Morehouse is an all male dorm. That's all Morehouse is. Morehouse is a male school. There are women. There are women in your classrooms. There are women walking Brown Street. There are women on
Yeah,
campus. There are women, in the cafeteria. Like there's not a day that has ever gone by at Morehouse that I have not seen women. Like they're like our teachers are women. You know what I'm saying? Like there are
exactly.
powerful women walking on Morehouse campus every single day.
Exactly.
Whether that be from Spelman, whether that be from Clark. But the point is that there are powerful women walking on Morehouse campus every single day. And like people, there's a misconception that it's an all male school, and it really is. But like, by virtue of what? Because there's never a day that you can go on Morehouse campus without running into powerful women. That's just not. It's not possible, right? So there's that. But then the naysayers that we have from Morehouse College, there's a lot of hate, but it's all stemmed and rooted in, I won't say jealousy and I won't say envy. I'll say it's all stemmed and rooted in like a few bad apples, like people that you like, just people. Like you come across the wrong people, you come across the wrong man of Morehouse, you come across the wrong Morehouse man, right? Like, and so then there's this sense of entitlement that you might come across from some Morehouse men. But like, the naysayers haven't spent enough time on our campus or with our students to really understand like what it is to be a Morehouse man, what the epitome of a Morehouse man is. And so that's what
Exactly.
I'll say. I don't think I think if the naysayers spent a little bit more time with us, they would think differently.
Man, bro. Morehouse we produce the brightest individuals, in my
Right.
personal opinion, across the globe. I'm
Mm-hmm.
talking about making change agents.
Right.
Like the guys that come to Morehouse, it's not just guys that are just, Morehouse don't change people. Like you said, you come to Morehouse away, and that's who you are. It just makes you even better than you were before you came in. And so
Right.
being in one, that's like honestly, it goes back to our original mission statement at the school, to
Mhm.
educate newly freed slaves to become teachers and preachers, because all of us are teachers in our own right. And so when we educate ourselves and educate our minds, then we just teaching people across the world. And
Right.
so I think that's what really makes a Morehouse man. But now that we talked about that, so what advice would you give a freshman that's entering Morehouse this year?
Advice. That's a good one. What advice would I give? Stay the course.
Mhm.
Stay the course. Don't get discouraged. Um, I think Morehouse is a difficult place for a freshman because you came to this school and somebody told you something crazy like Morehouse is a good school to pick because it's not a big school. Morehouse
Mm,
isn't a big school in terms of numbers, but the people on Morehouse campus hold weight. Like the people that are on our campus really do things like in real life. You know what I'm saying? And so the
right.
problem is, and what I find with most freshmen is that they get discouraged because like, and I had this conversation with you. I had to tell you like, hey, bro, like don't get discouraged because you're not doing what such and such or whoever is doing. You know what I'm saying? You're not doing what they're doing yet, but just understand that it took them a while to get there too. Like you're a small fish in not a big pond. You're a small fish in a little pond with big sharks. That's what I'll say.
Cool.
When you first get to Morehouse as a freshman, you're a small fish in a little pond with big sharks, and that's the biggest discouraging factor when you get to Morehouse because you looking around at everybody that's there, and you're like, yo, what am I supposed to be
So
doing? Like, all I do is
exactly.
go, like all I do is go to class. Like all I do is go to class and go to my dorm room. Like I ain't got it figured out yet, but I got to start doing something, or else like I'll never get there. I mean, the thing is like you will get there. And the thing that most freshmen have to remember is that like we didn't just make this happen on our own. The people will start to give you opportunities at Morehouse as they see that you're prepared for them. And the whole thing about Morehouse is that they're helping you matriculate through your process. And so as you know what I'm saying, continue to grind, continue to do what you got to do, the people will start to see like, oh, okay, he's ready. So okay, MT saw that you was ready to become e-board, right? All right,
Right.
cool. So now you e-board. Now that means Professor Thomas might see something in you. All right, now I can send him here. Now he can do this. Now he can do that. You know what I'm saying? Oh, he got a podcast. All right, cool. That means I know he can talk on air. Hey, this radio show wants to host you. Can you do this radio show right quick? Hey, can this you know what I'm saying? This internship needs a producer. Can you go and do this internship? And the fact of the matter is that once that ball starts rolling, as long as you don't mess it up, it just won't stop. You know what I'm saying? So if I had to give advice, I would just tell a freshman, to stay ready, keep working, stay encouraged. Don't be discouraged by whatever it is that you see everybody else doing around you. Especially the older people. Like as a freshman, it's harder. It's easier said than done not to compare yourself to everybody else that you see around you, but you have to realize like these people, a lot of the people around you, like they've been here. We've been doing this. So like when you see me, I'm a senior. I've been doing this though. Like,
Right.
you know what I'm saying? Like you will get there. You will get your time, but you still got 3 years left. 3 years is a long time. If I still had 3 years left, you know what I could do with 3 years at Morehouse? Knowing what I know now, you know what I could do with 3 years at Morehouse? Like I say that all the time. I wish I'd have started earlier. If I'd have started earlier, like the where I would be if I started my sophomore year, not my junior year, or my freshman year, not my junior year, I don't know. Like levels I could have took it. But it's all good. Like everybody's path is different. Stay down, stay encouraged.
Yeah. So now that you talked about the Maroon Tiger and you talked about all this stuff, right? You were like you said it earlier, you were the sports producer, sports editor, all that in one bag, if you will, on the Maroon Tiger. And so when it pertains to sports at Morehouse, we all know that the last thing at Morehouse is sports, sadly, unfortunately. But last year, Morehouse won one game in football, and that was to our rival Clark Atlanta. So, what are your thoughts on the team going into this next year with this new coach who also played in the league? Like, what are your thoughts on this next coming year? What are you expecting?
So this is my problem, right? Everybody has like these high hopes because we have a new coach who came in, who's from the NFL. You know what I'm saying? He played in the NFL. He's from Georgia. He should be able to do what he needs to do, right? And the problem wasn't the coach, bro. We just had a coach who was D1 certified, like who was a great coach. Like he was a great coach. Now, obviously, there was some politics that happened that I can't really talk about on the pod. It was more to it as to why he got fired. It wasn't just that he went 1-9. Let's also say that they fired him thinking that he was going to go 0-10. He was already fired before the Clark game even happened. Don't quote. But he was coaching the Clark game playing with house money. They fired him thinking that they had already had plans to fire him before the Clark game was ever played. And in the reasoning that he was going to be fired, it was because he was 0-10. But obviously he ended up winning the Clark game. But there was some other stuff that went along into that, and we can talk about that off air. But I can't really.
Right.
I'm not allowed to dive too deep into that. I probably can't graduate it, right? Can they really do anything?
We're not gonna do that because I'm still at Morehouse.
Yeah. I won't get you in trouble. And obviously some other people were fired at Morehouse. Our SID, our sports information director, Tatiana Stans, was fired. And my guy, Tiger Turner. Tiger Turner was fired, who's a Morehouse alum, who was our assistant AD, who was a Morehouse alum and graduated in like the 60s or 70s, like, and it's been at Morehouse ever since. He graduated and worked at Morehouse since the 70s. and it's
Wow.
been there ever since. And they fired him this year. This new regime that is in our athletics department, they are here and they are trying to win, and they're trying to turn a new leaf at Morehouse. And I understand that. Here's the problem. The problem is that Morehouse isn't a sports school, which means we aren't funding our athletics program the way that we should. And so even with the new coach, it doesn't matter who coaches. If you don't fund the program the way that it's supposed to be funded, you can't win because the coach can't recruit. We just now got a strength and conditioning coach, and that's for the first time in 17, 18 years. It's been 20 years since it's been 20 years since our football program has had a strength and conditioning coach. If you go and watch all of our football games, and I don't know how much you watch, but I've watched closely for the past 3 or 4 years now. If you go and watch all of our football games, there's not a team that we played that blew us out in the first half.
Exactly.
Other than Howard, but obviously that's a money game, right? That's a money game.
First two presidents were Morehouse men, by the way. I just had to point that out there. But you keep going.
There you go. Right. So other than Howard, who's D1, there's not a team who blew us out in the first half. I should say not a conference team that blew us out in the first half. Nobody in our conference is that much better than us. But there are small things that we don't have that other schools have that keep us at the bottom of the totem pole. One is funding.
Right.
Two is the strength and conditioning coach. The reason we get blown out in the second half is because our guys are tired. They're out of shape. They're not, I wouldn't say they're out of shape, but if the football seasons are won in the summer. If you don't have a strength and conditioning coach, you can't win in the summer because it is an NCAA rule that our coaches are not allowed in the weight room with our players.
Exactly.
It's an NCAA rule. Football is won in the summer. You can't win in the summer if you can't hold a team workout in the weight room. It's not possible, right? So there's a lot of things that need to change. And so finally we got a new coach, cool, whatever. I actually like him. I think he's a good guy. He's a Georgia native. Hopefully he can help with recruiting. Hopefully he can flip a couple recruits to come to Morehouse from Georgia. We have a strength and conditioning coach now. And so they're trying to turn a new leaf, and hopefully they allow the coach to have a few more scholarships. But there are just some things that won't ever change, and we can get into why that is, but it's partially our president. It's partially just the school. It's partially our board. It's hard to do. It's hard to change. It's hard to change the tide of a place like Morehouse in terms of sports.
Yeah, especially, with the administration that we have right now. I just think sometimes they can be very stagnant in what they do. And while we do have great professors, great faculty, for the most part, like when it comes to education, this is
everything
the place
is great.
Want to be. Yeah, but when it comes to sports, I just feel like it's so stagnant, and I feel like that's what could take Morehouse back over the top again, especially with us getting more funding. Like you said, everything starts in the off season. We learned this back in Pop Warner. I'm from Florida, and it get like 104, 105 degrees here.
Hey, y'all out there running. Y'all out there running now. Yeah.
Exactly. Man, I was in high school about a year or two ago. I played basketball. And so during the summertime, we was up at the school 5 a.m, going to practice, coming back at
start till winter. Y'all still hooping though in the summertime.
Exactly.
Everything is won in the summertime, bro. Everything is won in the off season.
You don't win games during the season.
Right.
Of course, technically you win games in the season, but the real nit and gritty of everything happens in the trenches.
Right.
When you with your brothers in the Lions, like I like to call it the Lions Den.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So yeah, man. But now we done talked about Morehouse. We done talked about all that. You got your hat on. So what you looking forward to most as a Morehouse man now? You got the big dog status. So what you looking forward to most?
There's a few things I'm looking forward to as a Morehouse man, though. Actually, the most fun I'm having right now is calling myself a Morehouse man. That's like that was what I was looking forward to most. Like,
yeah,
I actually got in trouble like probably like 2 or 3 days before graduation. I called myself a Morehouse man, and somebody there was an alum that heard me, and he lit a fire, and he wasn't having it. He was like, "You got 3 more days, young fella." My fault. But yeah, no, that's the most fun I'm having right now, and it's honestly just because of that. Like, it's because when I got to Morehouse, I didn't understand. This is the thing about me, man. I wasn't big on HBCUs. I wasn't big on like I was just big on playing football and being able to play ball when I got to college. And obviously, that didn't happen. But because of that, like I hadn't done like a whole bunch of research. I'm not from Georgia. I'm from Virginia. And I didn't know a lot about HBCUs. And so I didn't know a lot about the Morehouse mystique to begin with. So when I got down here, like I was like, man, I was excited, but I was like, man, like I can't wait to be a Morehouse man. I'm a Morehouse man. I'm a Morehouse man. And people were killing me for it. Like, bro, you're not a Morehouse man. You're a man of Morehouse. Like,
Exactly.
and I didn't understand it until now. Like now I fully understand it. And let me hear you call yourself a Morehouse man. We gonna come to blows. It's like, no, I'm playing. But but like that's how serious it is, bro. Because you gotta really go through that fire. Like you really gotta go through some adversity on Morehouse campus to really understand, like, even down to getting cleared for graduation. Like that's something people don't even talk about. But people should start talking about getting the process to getting cleared for graduation, bro. I got cleared like 2 days before graduation. It was
What
crazy.
in the world?
Yeah, bro.
2 days before?
It was actually no. I got cleared the day of the deadline to get cleared. So the deadline to get cleared for graduation was like the Wednesday of graduation. I finally got cleared on like Thursday, the day after. Like it was insane. So it was a few more days than 2 days before. I didn't push the deadline that much, but I didn't push graduation that much. But like it was a little crazy. My parents was down here and I like wasn't clear yet. Like like when I took those graduation pictures, I damn near wasn't clear. Like it was crazy. Like
You was just on a bunch of hope and prayers.
yeah, I was taking graduation prayers, hoping. Now, obviously, like I knew I was gonna graduate because it wasn't like it was a credits thing. Like it was a system error and credits thing. So I knew I was going to graduate. It wasn't like I had failed no classes or nothing. They just didn't have they didn't have all of my credits in the system for whatever reason, which is really weird because Morehouse is the only college I've been to. Usually when you hear credit problems, like it's, you know what I'm saying, some other thing like a transfer or something.
Right.
But yeah, you got to go through the fire to really get over on this side and like feel good about the fact that like you're a Morehouse man. I'm a Morehouse man now. And so that's what I've been having fun with most. What I'm looking forward to most is honestly coming back. Like just coming back on the other side, like all of the for the graduations and homecoming and all of that. Like to see it on the other side will be it's gonna be different. It'll be fun though.
Yeah. Man, like I said, I still got 2 more years, bro.
Damn.
I still tell me about it, bro. But we got the last part that we're gonna really just talk about is the NBA Finals. Now, this is one of the most anticipated things of the year usually, and so my boy Braun not in it this year, so I'm mad. Anyway, but we got the Mavs versus the Celtics, and so when you're looking at these numbers, you got Kyrie. He averaging about 22.8 points per game, about 5 assists, 3 rebounds. Luka averaging about close to 30 points a game, close to 10 assists per game. And then, bro, Luka is during there averaging a triple-double in the playoffs right now. That is insane. Yeah. And then you got Tatum. So on the other side, you got Tatum, 26.9, then 5 assists, then 10 rebounds. Then you got JB. With Jaylen Brown, 25 points flat, then 2 assists, and then 6 rebounds.
Yeah.
Like, this is a good matchup.
No, this is going to be a great NBA Finals. This is going to be great.
Yeah.
Go ahead. My fault.
No. Tell me your thoughts. I want to hear your thoughts.
Yeah. So, this is hard because I'm a Lakers fan, obviously, right?
Best team.
And so as good as I think Boston is, I could just never in my heart of hearts, like in my soul, like I could never pick Boston to win. Like,
right.
My name is Kobe and I'm a Lakers fan. I don't think I would be right if I picked Boston to win. So I'm gonna go with the Mavs. You're actually the first person to hear this. Like my own podcast doesn't even have that information yet. So you're hearing it first. Yeah, you're hearing it first. I'm taking the Mavs to win. Listen, here's the thing about it, right? I actually think it's gonna sound crazy. I'm taking the Mavs to win, but I actually think that Boston has a better team. I think Kyrie's experience and Kyrie's clutch closeout ability. I think Luka's closeout ability. I think if the games are close, Mavs win. Not that Boston can't close. We've seen them close before. We've seen Jason Tatum do it. We've seen Jaylen Brown hit big shots. But if the games are close, I just you can't bet against Kyrie and Luka when the game is close, right?
Right.
Also, the health of Kristaps Porzingis is paramount for the Celtics, right? Like Kristaps has to be healthy. I think Al Horford is has been really good for a long time. I don't know if he can keep up with Daniel Gafford and what's your boy Daniel Gafford and Derek Lively. Derek
Yeah.
Lively. I don't know if Al Horford can keep up with them athletically still. Like if we was talking about Atlanta Hawks like Al Horford, like maybe, right?
Yeah, that's different.
That's different. But athletically, I don't know what Daniel Gafford and or I don't know what Al Horford has for them too. Now here's the thing on the flip side of that, Boston has, and it's gonna sound crazy, but Boston has four people that can guard Kyrie and Luka.
Yes. Because you got JB.
Yeah, you got JB, you got J Tate, you got Derek White, and you got Drew Holiday. The problem
That's
is
cool.
Dallas does not have four people that can guard all four of
Jason
them.
Tatum. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
they're gonna put you in action. Derek White gonna come off Virginia cuts, down screens, all types of action, all types of action. J Tate and Jaylen Brown obviously gonna ISO you as the two of the best wing players we have in our league right now. Right, they're gonna obviously ISO you from the wing.
Mhm.
But it's gonna be great because we're gonna have a lot of offense. We're gonna have a lot of offensive scoring. Um, if Derek Jones Jr. and PJ Washington can find a way to slow down J Tate and Jaylen Brown for a game or two, if they can take them out of a game or two, I think you got to give the nod to Dallas. But we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens.
Now, my take on this one is that if Dallas steals a game in Boston, then
Mm-hmm.
Dallas gonna win it flat out. Like they gonna win the series. If they get one game in Boston, it's over with. And also, I feel like you said that this NBA Finals is gonna be high scoring, high offense, and I feel like the team that's gonna win it is the team that plays great defense.
Right.
Whoever plays great defense, 100% without a shadow of a doubt, is gonna win the series. If you
Right.
play solid defense for the entire duration of that game, you got a good shot.
Yeah.
Like, and the thing that I saw most this NBA playoffs for some odd reason, it's like a lot of teams is missing free throws.
Yeah.
Like
The
we
Mavericks are
watching,
missing a lot of free throws.
that's my point. Like if we in the NBA Finals and we getting closer, we need to be making as many as possible.
Yeah.
Because like the same grandfather always says, free throws decide the game. And if you
Yeah.
can't make your free throws and it's a 2-point game, that was your win right there.
That was your
Like
win. Yeah.
if
Yeah.
you miss 8 free throws in the game and you lose the game by 3 points, you
Mm-hmm.
could have won the game easily.
Mm-hmm.
And so whoever make the most free throws and whoever plays the best defense for the entire duration of that game is gonna win. But for Black and Black, I'm taking Mavs in 6. I'm going Mavs in
Yeah.
6.
It's gonna be over in
So
6 either way. Either way, it's gonna
either
be over
way,
in 6. I don't think I don't think it goes to 7. I don't think it goes the distance, but Mavs in 6. It goes to 6 either way.
yeah,
I can't take Boston. I can't take Boston.
me neither. And the reason that I'm a Lakers fan is because of LeBron, of course, because I'm a Bron fan. But like once Bron retired, then I'm gonna be a Lakers fan because it's like,
Can't keep flopping.
man,
Can't keep switching
yeah, you
around.
can't keep flopping. But I
Yeah.
do like next year going into next season, we're gonna have to talk again because I really like AE. Ant-Man tough. That
Ants,
boy a dog.
Ants very tough. It's gonna be he's gonna be very good for a long time. Um I think he was tired this series. I don't, it's his first deep run in the playoffs. I don't think he was ready for that yet. I don't think he was ready to be the leader of that team for a deep run in the playoffs yet. And his teammates did not help him very much. But he's tough. Now, what I think people are going to realize and what they're going to see, and I don't think people are going to be happy about it, but Adam Silver is going to send a PR man in there. they're gonna send a PR man to Minnesota. Ant is they are not going to keep allowing Ant to sit in press game conferences, dropping F-bombs, sitting in wife beaters, sitting in hat crooked to the side. Like they're not going to allow him to keep looking like he's walking around the west end of Atlanta. They're gonna send a PR man in there. And so I think all of the hype that's built around Ant right now, I love it. It's great. And especially because we in Atlanta right now, right? Like it's good to see the Georgia boy get his thing done, whatever. But that's all gonna come to an end in the next year or two. They're not gonna keep allowing that to happen.
That Atlanta swag is gone.
Yeah, I hope people still like still rock with Ant afterwards and realize it's not his fault. Like when the thing happens, when the switch happens and everybody sees it, I hope people not like, oh man, he switched up. Like, nah, he didn't switch up. He didn't have a choice. Like they sent the PR man down there. They gonna start finding him. They gonna start doing all types of stuff.
Especially because I think Silver, the NBA really they never played no foolishness for real. So it's like even the NFL, like that's why Marshawn Lynch was going to the interview and was like, I'm just here so I won't get fined. Because it's like everything I do, I'm gonna get fined for it. So let me just go, let me act right, But dog, when I say I do before we go, because we still got to do our inspirational advice. I want to ask you something though. If you saw, because I know you keep up with all sports, have you been watching the WNBA as of late?
Kind of.
What are your thoughts on what happened with Caitlin Clark the other day?
Yesterday with Trinity?
Yes. Yep.
So here's the problem that I have, right? Because I was on the side of everybody that was like, oh man, they just giving her the, you know what I'm saying? They just showing her the way through the league, you know what I'm saying? Like they know she's a star. They just showing her, you know what I'm saying? They just giving her that rookie love. Like welcome to the league, Rook. I think the problem is that there was a thing to be said for that. And I think Trinity took it over the top. We can't say that no more. And everybody that's still trying to like, man, she ain't even really did nothing wrong. Now you look kind of crazy. And that's where the people that's coming in like y'all hating on Caitlin Clark. That's where they're getting this energy from. And it's because like if somebody would have did that to Candace Parker, like first of all, it wouldn't happen. But because of the stature and build of Candace, right? But obviously, if somebody would have did that to Candace Parker, like the league would have had a fit, right?
Right.
It would have been a big issue. And the problem is right now, we doing this thing where we trying to pit, we pitting each other against ourselves. We pitting us against ourselves, right? Like so we got one fan base that's like, bro, y'all are mistreating Caitlin Clark. We got another fan base that's like, we're not mistreating her, we just teaching her, we just giving her welcome to the league moments.
Right.
And then there's the middle ground where it's like I see both sides, but now we've taken it a little too far. And then we get to the interview, and it's like, and we get to the post game press conference room, and she's like, I'm not answering no Caitlin Clark questions. Well, obviously you have a problem with Caitlin Clark, and so now we're like, now all of the people who was like, bro, we literally just showing her welcome to the league love. Like you can't say that no more because she literally showed you that she had a problem with Caitlin Clark. And so that's what didn't want to happen. I didn't want that to happen because I didn't want to you never want to give people to feel, you know what I'm saying? You never want to give people fuel in life to say whatever it is that they saying that's outlandish anyway. Like, so if they saying like you mistreating her, you never want to give people fuel to that fire. Like you never want to give people a real reason to say you mistreating her. And now what we've done, Trinity Carter, is giving her a reason to say, giving people a reason to say that we're mistreating Caitlin Clark. And that was my biggest takeaway from what happened yesterday. Not what happened. Like what happened is it is what it is. But I think what happened added fuel to the fire that I didn't want to be added.
Right. I think like this is also, it's a positive and a negative to this. And the positive is it's bringing a lot of attention to the WNBA, right? And whether it's good attention or bad attention, whatever, however you want to put it, it's still attention. And the most important thing I feel the WNBA needs is attention, because they're
Yeah,
trying to get their viewership up. And so with this, it's like, okay, oh, we seeing a little something now. Let's see what it's about. So now you got people just watching the game just to see what's gonna happen.
yeah,
And then the negative side is, like you say, it's like I understand the welcome to the league thing, but at the same time, I can't sit here and let you just shove the girl for no reason. Then when you
yeah,
got asked about it in your press conference, you like, I'm not answering no Caitlin Clark question. So why you do
yeah,
what you do?
yeah,
Just chill out, play the game how the game is supposed to be played. And
yeah,
so I think that's the most like frustrating part with it, is like we are, as black women and as black men, we already had this thing where we got this chip on our shoulder, and you
right,
making it worse for yourself in a
yeah,
sense,
yeah,
versus just doing your talking in between the lines.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
That's why
So
I said. That's why I said they adding fuel to the fire. Like it was cool. It was all fun and games when we could go back and forth and really have a debate about it. Like, are they really doing too much? They really not doing too much yet. They kind of doing too much. But now, like, I feel like what happened yesterday kind of like puts an end to the debate. Like,
yeah,
you just made not only yourself, but you just made everybody else around you look like you doing exactly what they saying you doing. You know what I'm saying? Like,
exactly.
you don't never want to do that to where it's like they saying something and you giving them a little weight to their argument. Like, it was a debate at first. Now now it's like, yeah, nah, like that was crazy. Like you added something. Yeah, that's it. That's all it is.
Yeah, but it's all good. I think the WNBA is moving forward, which is the most important thing.
Yeah, for
Uh,
sure, for sure.
Women deserve to get the spotlight as well. But before we go, on Blacker Than Black, we do this thing called inspirational advice at the end for this next week. And so I just want to ask you, what's yours for this next week?
Inspirational advice for the next week.
Yeah, because your episode coming out this following Sunday, this next Sunday.
Okay. Um, get up and go. Get up and
Mm,
go. Whatever it is you chasing right now, whatever it is you trying to make it happen. Make it happen. That's all. Because it's so easy to I'll start later. I'll start next week. I'll start in a month. I'll start next year. Well, that I'll start next week really turns into I'll start next month, and that next month start turns into 2 months, and 2 months turns into next year. You know what I'm saying? Too many times we've seen that happen. Um, and how many times in life have we seen, like, when you said, "Oh, I'll do it next week," you like, damn, if I'd have just did this last week, like I'd have been perfectly okay. You know what I'm saying? Like, that
exactly.
wasn't too hard. That wasn't too bad. Like, if I'd have did this
Right.
last week, that'd have been cool. You know what I'm saying? Like, and then the next thing you know, like, you looking back, kind of like me. Like, I'm looking back 2 years down the line. Like, if I'd have started 2 years before that, man, like, imagine what I could have done if I started 2 years. If I started 2 years prior to my junior year, if I'd have started my
Exactly.
freshman year or my sophomore year, you know what I'm saying? Like, that would have been, you know what I'm saying? I can't fathom what would have happened if I'd have did 2 more years of what I just did of the past 2 years that I just had.
Right.
Right? Like, that would be crazy. Um, that being said, though, get up and go. Because when you finally put your mind to it and you finally start doing it, good things will happen.
For sure. So I also do one. And for mine, I want to read a part of the Pledge of Allegiance, because y'all know, if y'all listen to Blacker Than Black, y'all always know I come with something, with some type of story or something. So at the beginning of the Pledge of Allegiance, it says, "I pledge allegiance to the flag and the republic for which it stands, one nation indivisible, with liberty and justice for all." And so then if you keep reading, it talks about being one nation under God. And so I've been seeing a lot of stuff lately in the media, especially with Donald Trump getting convicted. I feel that a lot of religious leaders and a lot of people in the world are trying to be above God instead of being under
Mhm,
God.
mhm,
Um, if nobody knows, I just recently accepted a call to ministry also. And so I've been getting extremely close with God. And so God is the number one thing on my mind at all times. And so when we say we're one nation under God, are we really? Like, are we truly one nation under God? Do we really believe in God and what he says in his word? Do we really perform these acts that we're supposed to? Because if we looking at leaders like Donald Trump, well, because if that's the case, then we in bad shape. Then a guy I saw on the Twitter post, a guy tries to compare Donald Trump to people like Nelson Mandela, Barack Obama, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. And the nerve and the audacity of him to compare him to my Morehouse brother. The nerve. Like, that makes me mad because it's like we supposed to be under God. And if we keep trying to be above God, we never going to accomplish what we're going to accomplish. Like, if we never truly set ourselves underneath God and do what he tells us to do and follow the instructions in the Bible, we'll never get what we're supposed to get. So, man, again, bro, I just want to say thank you. This was fun. I had a good time. Like I said, I told you this is gonna be a good one. So I'm glad we delivered for the viewers. But again, with that being said, I just want to say thank you again, bro, for coming on today.
For
Out your
sure.
busy day, especially with you getting ready to go to grad school. I'm already
For sure.
knowing that's a lot. But
Yeah.
even thank you to the audience. Even if you've been rocking with us since day one or you just stopped by today, we truly appreciate you from the bottom of our heart. And it has been a pleasure to be with you guys again. And this has been Josh with the Black and the Black podcast, where it's always real, where we don't conceal. And today, the truth was revealed. I see y'all next time, and I love y'all. Peace.